In an era where gender equality and inclusivity are essential to national development, the Bureau of Gender Affairs has taken a proactive approach in shaping young minds. The Gender Ambassadors program is a pioneering initiative that empowers students to become advocates for gender equity and social justice within their schools and communities.
I'm super ecstatic to share a little bit about the Gender Ambassadors program. We like to call it GAP. And that's because GAP, pun intended, was designed to show the nexus between gender and education and to fix the gaps where they existed. It had its genesis in a small group discussion that we had in Barbados at a forum that was hosted by the CDB, Caribbean Development Bank. And one of the reasons they wanted to have that forum is for gender experts and persons who worked in the education sector to converse on how it is that we could use gender as a strategy to fix some of the issues that were happening in the school system. We had a robust discussion in Barbados, and they challenged us to do something specific on return to our home country. And so because I'm big on acronyms, I wanted something that is contextual. And so I thought of something with gender, something with program, and the word ambassador came to me, and I said, okay, so they could be an ambassador for gender. And then while thinking about it some more, towards the end of the day, it came to me, it could be GAP. And then I laughed because I said, so there's a pun intended. Not only is it GAP for Gender Ambassadors program, it also speaks to the gap between gender and education. And so that's how the term Gender Ambassadors was born. So we pitched the idea of the Gender Ambassadors program to the Ministry of Education, and we were happy when we found the Gender Focal Point who was excited about this particular program and how it is that that could assist with some of the issues that they were having. And that's when they told us that they were having several gender issues. Some of them had to do with bullying, conflict resolution, career goal setting, leadership development, self-esteem issues, self-awareness issues, conflict resolution issues, and just a number of things like how to use my time. Time management was one of them. And so we saw that there was a great opportunity to have interface with these students. But of course, we wanted it to be official. And so it was launched officially on March 31, 2019. With the Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. And at that point we had our State Minister, Minister Terrelong. He was a part of the ministry, and so he was a part of the launch as well. Many years later, the Gender Ambassadors program is still going. We now have a new team that's managing that space because I handed it over. And so there is a team in the Policy and Research Unit that's very excited about it, and they have taken it to new levels. They've been able to introduce it to new schools, and they have cohorts that they're working on. There is a group that was started as a pilot, and I can tell you that those students have been doing exceptionally well. They have even entered competitions and have done exceptionally well. We've had sessions where they have come to sessions and showcased their skills, and they have been able to mentor, certainly, in their schools, other students who had issues. They are like the gender focal points in ministry departments and agencies. It's just that they are the younger versions of these gender focal points in their schools, being like the resource persons.
Currently, I serve as one of the main facilitators for the Gender Ambassadors program within the Bureau of Gender Affairs. I work with institutions from both urban and rural areas, and I have seen firsthand the benefit of students' involvement in the program. It not only assists students, empowers students to become advocates for gender equality, but it is a program that helps students to develop personally because it gives them different opportunities that they would not be exposed to in any other programs. I've seen students come in to the GAP, and through GAP they have been involved at the national and regional level in many different forums, and with that, it provides networking opportunities for them to not only interact with students from other institutions within Jamaica, but also youth across the Caribbean region as well. Having seen firsthand how much GAP has benefited our students, I wholeheartedly believe that GAP is something that should have been in place when I was in high school. The students who are a part of GAP, they are empowered to advocate for persons who may not be able to advocate for themselves. Right? They're able to speak confidently. They are able to teach others and effect positive behavior change.
What the GAP program has done is that it has brought a level of awareness in terms of gender equality, gender balances that are important, and just an enlightenment to students, because I think prior to the program, when we heard about gender programs, we always thought about just females, right? We didn't think as much about the gender balance between boys and girls, and even in the reverse. So for our school, which is the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, it has brought a level of awareness and sensitivity to issues, violence-based issues, boy versus girl, and so on. So it's really been an excellent program. And what we saw is that students now became advocates, advocates for issues relating to male, female on the campus, or boy, girl, and just anything that we saw that would provide an avenue for them to impart to them the importance of how we treat girls or we treat boys. And so you'd find the candid things like, a boy would say a girl, and I would talk to her in a certain way like he was being overpowering, or, and they would intervene as the ambassador. So we also saw them growing as well, because they took it onto themselves to be true ambassadors and champion of the whole gender equality issue.
Beyond the classroom, gender ambassadors extend their influence to their communities, hosting events and initiatives that foster awareness and drive social change. Their work aligns with Jamaica's broader commitment to achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, particularly those focused on gender equality and quality education.
I have seen where the students, they are more vocal, they are more aware of gender issues, they are willing to speak up some more, they are, in terms of their interaction within the college community and with other institutions, I've seen where it is much better, and it has added to the holistic development of our students.
I became interested because of my personal desire to promote gender equality amongst my peers.
I was interested in joining the Gender Ambassadors program because, quite frankly, I am passionate about gender affairs, gender equality, and I love to speak up about gender-based violence.
I have a passion for helping those who are in need. So giving back or giving to somebody who needs the assistance really is what I enjoy doing.
This club has made me very open-minded to look at both perspectives, both male and female, and also it has provided opportunities, both professional and personal, for growth.
I was interested in joining the program because it is teaching you a lot about how to treat people in a society, especially females, because we live in a society where male dominance is portrayed on everyone, but it cannot be seen as such because both men and women can be equal in society.
It is no doubt that GAP is has a very integral role to play in fostering students in our school. What it does is to show that there is equality in every single gender, and that everybody has the opportunity to do well, and gender just doesn't matter.
It is something that is truly student-focused and student-led. And if the students buy into this program, it's easier for them to actually become confident in the messaging that they're trying to get across. We want to empower all Jamaican men, women, boys, and girls. And that is where the Gender Ambassadors program comes in.
Implemented in schools across Jamaica, the program provides training in leadership, advocacy, and conflict resolution. Through interactive workshops, students learn how to identify gender biases and promote respect, fairness, and equal opportunities for all.
I have benefited from the Gender Ambassadors program, both personally and professionally. I have now developed stronger public speaking and leadership skills.
I have greatly benefited from this club in areas of leadership. I, for one, always tend to shy away from leadership, and this club gave me opportunities for public speaking and to represent myself as well as my school.
I've noticed that students have become more confident in themselves because some of the activities that we have done have helped to empower them.
The club has increased my awareness with the inequalities that others face, and it made me more aware of all the issues that could aid in these inequalities.
These student ambassadors play a crucial role within their schools. They organize gender awareness campaigns, host discussions on issues such as gender-based violence, and serve as peer monitors. They also work closely with teachers and guidance counselors to create inclusive learning environments.
St. Mary High School's Gender Ambassadors program firmly believes there is no excuse for abuse. Equity and equality all the way. It was a pleasure to be taking all my children, recognizing them, their values, their worth, their willingness to participate, and to be representing the school as well as the gender affairs body at all the different places that we have been to. The students have really enjoyed themselves. We have met with many coordinators for the other schools, and our students have really represented well in panel discussions, in competitions, and we have done well.
One of the key highlights of the Gender Ambassador program was, for me, was the impact that it had on my school. You know, seeing how persons respond to, being introduced to the program initially, wondering what it is, and then telling them what it is and seeing it having a change on the student body. I was able to educate my friends, my peers in the sixth form body about what it is, and a lot of the things that used to happen as it relates to how they treat the younger students. There was a reduction, and that was very good. That was a key highlight for me. Another key highlight was a particular seminar that happened at the Jamaica Pegasus, where I was selected to be a panelist, where I was able to share my views and audience could interact, and it was a very wonderful experience.
I believe the Gender Ambassadors program is an important platform for us all to be informed.
I would encourage other students to join the Gender Ambassador program, because it fosters a community where it makes you feel included. It helps you to be a better individual. It enhances your personal growth. It helps you to be good leaders. I place emphasis on that one. I'm a proud product of that.
I have benefited from joining the Gender Ambassadors Club because it has increased my awareness in the inequalities others face and the societal dynamics that occur.
I have benefited from the Gender Ambassadors program through it being so eye-opening. There are so many different gender-based violence that we look away from during the days. But joining the Gender Ambassadors program, it has allowed me to see them and speak out more on them.
I would encourage other education institutions to join the Gender Ambassadors program, as due to the fact that education institutions are raising the youth of the future, they will be more prevalent to introduce gender equality among genders, as today's society has proven that women and men are not equal in the public's eye. However, that is not exactly true. So with the youth of tomorrow understanding that women and men can coexist equally, it will thereby improve our society.
I would encourage other schools to be a part of the Gender Ambassador program, because it's not only a thing that raises awareness, it's something that is seeking to solve issues. Gender-based violence is something that's a pressing issue in today's society, especially with what's going on in the world at large. So them being aware and being on board would limit the amount of gender-based violence happening, and everybody be involved. There's personal development that's to be involved, and personal development from each person would aid in the collective development and further reduction of gender-based violence. So I would encourage persons to get on board with the Gender Ambassador program for that reason.
I believe the future augurs well for the Gender Ambassadors program, and I see it growing exponentially and involving many more schools. I know whenever we talk about the program in spaces, other persons who have not yet signed on or who are not a part of it are asking, what about our schools? Why are we not involved? When will we get involved?
We would want to encourage all schools at different levels, from the very primary, secondary, right throughout university, to be a part of this initiative. You see, once students are exposed to certain kinds of concepts from very early, then they're able to appreciate it as it goes. And of course, we can see so many things in society that is out of alignment as it relates to the whole matter of gender and gender equality. I mean, we still have people who are not appreciating the whole matter that I'm just as equal as you are, right? And that, people are making strides at different levels and so on. So I think that what we need is greater engagement across the educational system. And I'll definitely, as a person in this position, be an advocate that more schools definitely need to be engaged in this initiative.
I would encourage schools, organizations, and the wider society to be a part of this wonderful initiative, because there's not just personal development there to be made, there's collective development. When you think about the initiative and what they're trying to achieve and what they're going forth to achieve, gender-based violence is a very pressing issue, right? And increasing it is not going to help us develop as a society, as a nation, as a country. So being a part of mitigating this issue is why I would encourage everybody to be a part of this program.
I would encourage institutions to join the Gender Ambassadors program because it opens your eyes to what's happening around the world when it comes on to gender affairs and gender-based violence.
The club will provide students with opportunities to improve communication skills, develop leadership, and also to network with other institutions in Jamaica.
The Gender Ambassadors program is more than just an initiative. It is a movement that fosters leadership, education, and advocacy among young Jamaicans. As these students continue to challenge stereotypes and break barriers, they are not just shaping their futures, but also transforming Jamaica into a nation where equality and respect thrive.
I encourage you all to help the Bureau of Gender Affairs to realize that vision for Jamaica.
You can make contact with the Bureau of Gender Affairs, and we will be most delighted to fill you in on this very exciting, dynamic, cutting-edge program for young people. We believe that it's a win-win because it is poised to assist young persons to make choices that are judicious and to have fun while learning at school, and to be able to make the best possible choices to build their self-awareness and their self-esteem, and to help their peers to have healthy relationships, as well as to choose a career that would allow them to be able to use some of their skills, and just to be very conscious of gender issues and how what they do affect each other.
For more information on how your school can participate in the Gender Ambassadors program, contact the Bureau of Gender Affairs today. Together, we can build a future of equality, respect, and opportunity for all.